Yo! So a lot of people have been asking me to make a draw my life video. And I really tried, I promise, I really did try. But those videos are really hard to make, and I actually admire the people that got them done because they're very tedious and they're very hard to edit and all that shit. And I don't really have a good setup to do it anyway. So instead of drawing it, I'm just gonna tell it. So here you go, The One Janitor Vlog My Life. I was born May 29th, 1985 in a hospital on an American Army base in Nuremberg, Bavaria, which is in Germany. I don't remember a goddamn thing about Germany because I left there when I was 2. I spent my early childhood in a small town called Severn, Maryland. Actually, it's not a town or a city, it's a CDP. You can Google that. I remember being a very happy and energetic child. I did get into trouble sometimes, but mostly I remember being very playful and outgoing. Growing up, me and my brothers were always the creative types. We were always drawing pictures and making up stories. And we had a little talk boy and we would record skits and songs, and we had a toy chest full of action figures and we would make up storylines for all the characters. When I was about 9 or 10, I think, my parents divorced. Apparently this is common among YouTubers. For some kids, apparently this is a traumatic experience, but I think we were too young to really understand what was going on. And honestly, to this day, I don't even remember what it's like to have 2 parents in one house. Since my mom was no longer married to my dad, we couldn't live on the army base anymore, so we moved down south to Birmingham, Alabama because we had family there. My dad eventually moved south too so he could be closer to us, first to Texas and eventually Georgia. Unlike some of the other YouTubers with divorced parents, me and my brothers maintained a close relationship with my dad. We didn't get to see him super often, but he was and still is a part of our life. We moved to what could be considered the hood in Alabama, and it was a lot different than the suburban area in Maryland where we used to live. It was a little tough. The kids talked differently and they acted differently, and this resulted in me becoming a little more shy and quiet, especially in school. I started middle school pretty soon after we moved to Alabama, and it was terrible. Beyond the fact that I didn't really know anyone, middle school just seems to be around the time when kids start becoming huge douchebags. Didn't have very many friends in middle school and certainly didn't have any girlfriends. When I got to high school, things changed a bit. I didn't get popular or anything, but I actually made a lot of really good friends, and I even found me a girlfriend. At my high school, all of the weird kids sort of flocked together and we had like this huge group. And even though we weren't popular how you normally think about it, most people just left us alone. I think they were scared of us. Also in high school, the name The One Janitor was born. I first used the name in the early 2000s. Before there was social networking or blogging or YouTube, people who wanted to share themselves with the internet would create personal websites. Most of these don't exist anymore. The only one I can think of that still exists is Maddox's hilarious site called The Best Page in the Universe. And if you didn't have any money like me, you would use a free hosting service for your personal website like Angelfire or Tripod. I used Yahoo GeoCities. Do you remember GeoCities? Of course you don't. Anyway, my website was basically me ranting about stuff that I didn't like. Basic teenager shit. I kept it going for a few years and it was really awesome, and I knew that I wanted to keep doing something like that in the future. Eventually, I went to college and a lot of my high school friends went to the same college as me, and it was fun. At first. See, back in those times, I was kind of a sarcastic douchebag who thought he was smarter than everyone else. But deep down, I was very sad and bitter, and I took for granted basically everyone who cared about me. And this attitude led to me being dumped by my girlfriend, and in general, it made it hard for girls and just people in general to want to be around me. But one day, I just had an epiphany. I was like, your life sucks directly because you are a douchebag, so why don't you stop being a douchebag? It's easy to continue doing the same shit that you've always done, but sometimes you have to make a conscious effort to change it. And it's not easy, it's a work in progress, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Around this time, YouTube became a thing, and there were people who had huge followings, like the Vlogbrothers and Lisa Nova and Boheme. So I decided I wanted to try my hand at it. But I was still trying to finish college, so it was just a hobby. I just did it in my spare time. After I got pretty good at not being a dick, I became way more social and way more outgoing, and I made lots and lots of friends. I still had kind of a problem with girls though. Well, sort of. See, by this point, I pretty much figured out how to get people, including girls, to like me. My main issue was getting them to stick around for the long run. And I think for me, that was just because I was sort of stagnant in life. I wasn't going anywhere. I had no ambitions. You can get away with this for a little while, but once you start getting older, people start thinking about their future and where they're gonna end up in a few years. So I decided that I was gonna more or less stop worrying about girls and just just try to get my own shit together. And that's a thing that I'm still working on. I changed my major 4 times in college, which led to me being in college for like 7 years and building a shit ton of debt. And it became very clear to me that college was some shit that I just kinda wasn't into and was probably never gonna be motivated to finish. So even though I'd been there for like a third of my life, I dropped out and tried to get a job. So I got a job, and then a year later, I got fired. And I guess it was mostly my fault, but the thing is, I'm really bad at jobs. I hate having a boss. I hate working at a pace that someone else dictates. I hate having to wake up when I don't want to. I hate doing menial, tedious, stupid tasks all day long that don't interest me. Like, I don't think I'm physically capable of doing that. I've never been able to keep a job for very long because of that. And maybe that makes me a lazy brat, you decide. And I realized that even though I hated working and I hated doing long, tedious things, there was one thing that I did love to do, no matter how much work it was or how long it took. YouTube. I love writing videos, I love filming videos, I love editing videos, I love watching YouTube videos, I love talking about YouTube videos. And there are a lot of people now who do YouTube for a living, so I thought, I'm gonna try to do that. So instead of looking for another typical job that I knew I'd eventually hate, I decided to go all in on this YouTube jam, which has resulted mostly in me being super broke. But I started putting way more time into my videos, I started uploading more consistently, I got way more active in social media, and with all that work and definitely a bit of luck, I went from like 400 subscribers to now almost 35,000. And even though I still don't make nearly enough money to live off of, the ball is rolling, and in my view, it's no longer a matter of if I can do this for a living, it's just a matter of when. And I just love it. My friends are always asking me, don't you think it's weird that thousands of people are watching you on the internet? And I don't think it's weird, I think it's awesome. I've never really been that much of a private person. I love sharing myself with the world and I love interacting with people. So thank you for watching me and helping me to get my shit together. And if you ask me for advice about what to do in life, think about what you're passionate about, what you would do for free. And then once you figure that out, go in on that shit, go full steam, and never stop until you get there. That's just me though. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please press the like button. And subscribe if you like my hair. As mentioned in the video, I would like to be able to do YouTube full time, and not just YouTube, but creative, collaborative, internet-y stuff in general. But it's becoming harder and harder for people to achieve this now, not only because YouTube is oversaturated with content creators, but also because A, YouTube's algorithms are consistently broken, and B, it's becoming more and more clear that YouTube does not really give a shit about content creators so much as they give a shit about advertising. Which makes perfect sense, by the way. Google invested a shit ton of money into YouTube, and they want to maximize their return. But where does that leave people like me? Because the best way to please advertisers, which is incidentally the best way to make money on YouTube currently, is to get as many views as possible. But if I really wanted to do that, I would just put laughing babies and mischievous cats in every video. And even then, YouTube's not really doing much to promote those videos, so it's still random. Don't get me wrong, I'd love for lots of people to watch my videos, but I'd like for that to happen in a way where I can still make the videos that I want to make and the videos that my viewers want to see. So what a lot of smart people are suggesting is finding a way for viewers to bypass the advertisers and directly support the creators that they love. And isn't that what the internet is all about anyway? Proving to the world that we don't need the funding of corporations to be successful, especially us creative people. I want you to know that even if YouTube completely crashes or if I make zero money, I will find a way to make videos for you because I love making videos and I love you guys. That said, if you would like to directly support me, there are many ways you can do that. 1, you can donate directly to me using PayPal. 2, you can pledge a small amount per video using Patreon. Patreon is a site similar to Kickstarter, except for people who make lots of stuff instead of one big project. And just like Kickstarter, there are perks for pledging certain amounts of money. There's a link in the description explaining it in further detail. 3, you can buy a t-shirt. Yes, I have an online t-shirt shop now. There are many designs to choose from. Go check it out. Or if you can't or don't want to spend money, that's fine. There are other ways you can support me. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. Like, comment, favorite, and most of all, share my videos. Or just watch them. Seriously, just watching my videos helps. It might sound like I'm lying, but I'm not. Doing those things helps just as much in the long run as donating directly. There are links to all of those things that I just mentioned in the description. Go check it out. And keep in mind again, even if nobody does any of those things, I will still continue to make videos and I will continue to grow. I will find a way to make this happen. Sorry to get all NPR pledge drive on you, but it has to be done every now now and then. And I promise it'll probably be a while before I do something like this again. But for the 4 or 5 of you that are still watching, I thank you so much for your viewership. And you may not know it, but you guys are making my dreams come true. Holla.